When you think about working in sales, you probably think about things like high pressure, a sleazy used cars salesman, cold calling all day. And it's very, very easy to talk yourself out of even looking any further into a job like that. Because who wants to be that? No one. Here's something to consider. Things aren't always what you think they are. A lot of times we are the best salesmen ever when it comes to convincing ourselves to do something or talking ourselves out of it based on what we think to be true. So if you're considering a position in sales, let's talk about what it's actually like when you're doing it right. And by the way, here's the crazy thing. Whether you've ever worked in sales or not, there's usually a general stigma about the sales industry that we all have in common.
Because we're adding a little something to this month's sales contest. As you all know, first prize is a Cadillac Eldorado. Anybody want to see second prize? Second prize is a set of steak knives.
Sales reps that work with us and people that haven't think the same things before they go into their interview.
See, personally, I thought that sales was going to be this big professional suit and tie, going door to door knocking and calling random people that you didn't know.
They're going to have you selling butcher knives out the trunk of your car, allegedly.
Now, the second person that you just saw is what we like to call a herd it. They're people who have heard about vector marketing and have made assumptions on different parts of the business, whether it's how we actually conduct business or how the pay works or, something else. A lot of these herd its have a lot of extra time on their hands because they're not working. So they can record a 12-minute video about a company with which they've never interviewed.
So I'm supposed to have an interview today. I'm obviously not gonna do it.
So if the herd its are people who are claiming to be experts, who are the people who actually know what they're talking about? We call them tried its, like Tyler, who you saw in the first clip.
Working with Cutco and Vector has been, you're doing demos for people that you actually know, and then you kind of branch out with people that you kind of know. And it's really nice just kind of being able to catch up with family and people you haven't really talked to in a long time. And it's honestly a lot more than just the sales. It's the personal relationships you build and almost the network that you build too. It's really all around pretty great.
It's common to think that working in sales is just a transactional relationship where you're trying to make the most money possible because that's how sales is portrayed in TV shows and movies.
Third prize is you're fired.
And not only that, but people might think that they're selling an inferior product, that will break or won't work correctly.
I thought sales was going to be the same thing that happens when you go and try to buy a car. Some guy or girl trying to press you to buy a car that you don't want or need, that clearly isn't the best option. What I'm really learning and experiencing through Vector is that if you have something that you believe in, it's very easy to sell. As long as you clearly make it obvious that you love the product you're selling, it made it very available for me to be convincing and step outside of my comfort zone in demos to make sure I get the sale, but not to push someone.
And one of the nerve-wracking things for us sales reps is that if they've ever worked in sales before, it's usually in something like, retail, where they haven't really actively sold something.
I have never done sales in this capacity before. Everything that I have done up to this point has been customer service, has been being a cashier.
That's why we have a base pay. So each sales rep knows that they're making a base amount for every appointment and they don't feel pressured to, pressure the customer for a commission.
The thing that caught my attention about this job right away was the flexibility, and also on top of that, the fact that there was a base pay involved and that it was aside from commission.
You've sold yourself on why you should or shouldn't do things your whole life. When you sell yourself to do something, it's interesting. You never have to look back and think, what if, right? That only happens on when you sell yourself why you shouldn't just go for it. So if you're considering scheduling an interview with Vector, why not just check it out and see what happens, like the Tried It's did?
I took the risk and it ended up great, so.
The worst thing that could happen is you don't and end up asking, what if?